The Juan Soto meetings are about to get underway, and we have another report about where the Mets stand in the Juan Soto sweepstakes and what's going on with it. Plus, more trade talk and more predictions about possibly a Mets free agent that will be signing a 5-year contract with us. We will get all into discussion of what's going on in recent Mets news. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this offseason edition of Mets Digest with your host, Michael DeAngelo. As you see on the screen, I apologize about the mic quality. I don't have my headphones right now. They're lost right now, but I'll get them back soon. But that is not important. What is important is that you guys are here locked in with Mets Digest, the best Mets channel for all things Mets roster news, trade updates, trade rumors, free agency rumors, all of that. This is your one-stop shop right here for all things Mets offseason baseball. Me and Flobo boys have been killing it recently, and you guys have been killing it with the support and the views. So thank you guys so much for all of it. I've been receiving messages and I've been reading all your guys' comments. I thank you guys so much. You guys have no idea what it means to me to be making these videos for y'all and then receiving all the love back. Flobo's been killing it as well. His last video was an absolute banger about Juan Soto. Make sure you guys go watch that as well. But we will get started right here sooner. And that is that right there. I will explain that picture soon. But in recent news, Francisco Lindor, ladies and gentlemen, has won something as a New York Met. Can we all just take a second here? Francisco Lindor, our franchise shortstop, has finally won something in a New York Mets uniform. It only took him what, like 4 years? No gold gloves, no silver slug. Like, he finally wins something. This media and these voters finally give him something to celebrate. And that is him winning the Silver Slugger at the shortstop position in the National League this year. Congratulations to him. And much deserved after pretty much carrying this offense the entire second half of the season. Now, next up is we will see what happens in the National League MVP voting. I'm sure with the playoff results, Shohei Ohtani kind of holds all the cards right now, but upsets have happened. But if I had to be honest with you guys, I don't think it's happening because with the amount of times that they have done Francisco Lindor dirty when it comes to awards and placements and other things, it has just not been working out for him well in recent history. So, but this image right here was taken last night at Los Angeles International Airport. Yes, that is Francisco Lindor walking through Los Angeles International Airport. That image is thanks to TMZ who caught him walking through. He is there to meet with Mr. Juan Soto himself and Steve Cohen. It is pretty obvious now. There was a report by Jeff Passan that came out earlier that Flobo covered in the last video that Francisco Lindor has been very, in depth and in talks with Juan Soto and has played a big role in trying to recruit him to the New York Mets. And he is taking it a step further by coming to Los Angeles with Steve Cohen to meet with Juan Soto, who will be beginning his meetings probably this weekend. What we know right now is that he will be meeting with the San Francisco Giants first, and then the Toronto Blue Jays, and then the New York Mets, and then the New York Yankees. So the Mets are the third team he will be meeting, and that is a fantastic sign, considering that he's kind of giving the first two teams that are not very high on his list the first goes, and then the Mets and the Yankees, which are obviously the two favored teams, and he has given them the last two meetings considerably that those are the two teams that will be giving him the highest offers on the table. And from what we know now, the contract will probably be around $700 million. And the Mets and the Yankees are probably the only two teams that can really afford something like that. We have heard reports, of course, about the Dodgers possibly coming into play for Juan Soto. But with Shohei Ohtani kind of being that permanent DH, that kind of limits Juan Soto's options when it comes to playing time. Of course, we already know his defensive skill set may not match up to the Dodgers standards when playing in one of the corner outfield spots. So that might, cause some complications for the Los Angeles Dodgers when trying to sign Juan Soto. But when it comes to the Mets, it is full on go mode for Steve Cohen. He is ready to give Juan Soto the biggest contract in MLB history, and Francisco Lindor will be right by his side when Steve Cohen gives Juan Soto that number. So very exciting times, and hopefully the two of them can convince Juan Soto to come and play in one of the best environments in baseball. Now, moving on from that, if the Mets were to sign Juan Soto, what would that mean for one of our free agents? And that is Pete Alonso. The talks have kind of died down a little bit with all the Juan Soto stuff coming up. And, with Pete Alonso being a free agent, another Scott Boras client, obviously Boras is going to be focusing a lot more on Juan Soto first and then worrying about Pete Alonso next. It is still kind of a toss-up. We haven't heard too many rumblings about what specific teams are interested in him, what the money is looking like. We've gotten predictions of, 6-year contracts for around $174 million. Recently, Kerry Miller from Bleacher Report predicted that the Mets would re-sign Pete Alonso for a 5-year, $153 million contract, which puts him around $27 million a year. In my opinion, I'm sure he's going to be asking for more than that, especially Scott Boras. We know how he works with his clients. I'm sure he's going to be making sure that Pete Alonso gets around $30 million a year. But, if the Mets were able to sign Juan Soto, that could be a pretty big, advertisement to Boras and Pete Alonso that, they have a World Series ready championship team. And if Pete Alonso were to take a pay cut in order to rejoin the team and be a Met for pretty much the rest of his career, which is what he wants, it would be a great fit and overall would pretty much put together a top 2, top 3 team in baseball. Because if Pete Alonso were to leave to another team, he's not really in much of a competition to win a World Series. I mean, these other teams that he would be going to have just do not have the type of firepower and money power that the Mets and Yankees and Dodgers have. We already know the Dodgers are not interested in Pete Alonso most likely, but we have heard some rumblings now that it is possible that the Mets and the Yankees could swap superstars this offseason with Juan Soto and Pete Alonso. It is possible that the Yankees would be interested in signing Pete Alonso, especially after they will pretty much be letting go of Anthony Rizzo this offseason, so they will be looking for a first base replacement. And Pete Alonso fits that regimen. So it could be a very interesting offseason. We have seen things in the past with Steve Cohen and owner Hal Steinbrenner, agreeing to terms that they would not try to go after each other's stars. That was with Aaron Judge, of course, and Jacob deGrom in the past. But that has since gone out the window. Now, these teams are trying to sign each other's biggest stars, and it's going to be awesome to say the least. And, I'm hoping that if Juan Soto were to come to the Mets, that would really trigger Pete Alonso to really want to re-sign with us, because that overall gives him the best chance to win a World Series, especially with the team that drafted him and grew him from the bottom up. I mean, if you were to get Juan Soto and re-sign Pete Alonso, it is no matter who you get to play third base, no matter who's your DH next season, you're pretty much going to have the best lineup in baseball, at least a top 2 lineup in baseball, other being probably the Dodgers or Padres. Like you put yourself at such a big advantage if you were to re-sign those 2 stars. And I'm just so excited to see what happens. I obviously don't want Pete Alonso to leave, but he would have to take a little bit of a pay cut and maybe a little bit of a yearly contract cut if he's going to want to stay here with the Mets, especially after if they were to sign Juan Soto. Now, if they don't, then he could be asking for a little bit more money. We could see maybe the contract exceeding over $200 million for maybe 6 or 7 years. And then that would put him at around 37, 36 years old when his contract were to expire. So, meetings underway with Juan Soto. It pretty much determines what it'll pretty much factor into what Pete Alonso will do this offseason. And we know that he's gonna wait for probably Juan Soto to make his decision first before Pete Alonso goes out there and makes a signing. I'm predicting that Pete Alonso will probably not sign a contract till maybe late January, early February. I think he's going to be a pretty last minute candidate. He's really going to field all of his offers that he can possible, wait to hear from other teams, and he'll probably go from there. Now, moving on from this, and we've talked about, of course, I've ranted on about the pitching and how it really needs a lot of work this offseason. And we have heard reports from good sources like John Heyman and Jeff Passan that the Mets are going to be aggressively pursuing pitchers for the bullpen and the starting rotation through the free agent market. But I have brought up, of course, the possibility of trading for a guy like Garrett Crochet. And recently, there have been a lot of predictions from Met sources of what a package would look like for Garrett Crochet. Now, what we know is that he is under team control for the next 2 seasons. Now, factors in big when trading for a guy like this, and that factors in big for a value for what kind of package you would have to put together for a guy like this, especially since you're not going to have to be paying him anything. He's 25 years old. He still has he's pretty much in his prime, 2 years left of team control. You don't have to pay him big money. And of course, he was an all-star last season. So I've seen some things of possibly, Brett Beatty, Ronnie Mauricio, and one more prospect, and then Tyler McGill for Garrett Crochet, which in my opinion is way too much. I mean, I've seen Acuna thrown in there too. I've just seen some ridiculous trade propositions, and if that was really the package that we would have to put together for a guy like Garrett Crochet, I don't want him. I mean, just seeing what Luis Angel Acuna was able to do this season, showing, the true promise that he has. Ronnie Mauricio with the showing that he's had from the time he's been on the major league field. It's just too exciting. And you got to love the youth. And like I said before, in pretty much every video that I've made, that, youth, having youth is very superior right now in the game of baseball. A lot of teams are pulling up their young prospects very early. It is a big trend. We are seeing young top prospects fly through the minor leagues and get pulled up within a year of getting drafted. The game is different now, and these prospects are valued at a completely different value than they were before and years past. So for a guy like Garrett Crochet, I'd be willing to trade Brett Beatty. Of course, third base is, easily replaceable with Mark Vientos. We've heard rumors about Willie Adames and Anthony Santander. So Brett Beatty would, of course, pretty sure be in that package. I wouldn't mind throwing in a guy like Drew Gilbert, especially with the outfield being so crowded, especially if Juan Soto were to come. And then maybe throwing possibly in a guy like Tyler McGill or another young major league ready pitcher that we could give to Chicago. But this is all speculation. It's nothing official, and we know now that the Mets are probably going to be pursuing pitchers through the free agent market first. I kind of see this situation as more of a last resort type of deal. We just got a report from The Athletic earlier this morning that the Red Sox, Orioles, and Dodgers are the 3 teams that are officially interested in him. We know now that the Mets do, when it comes to guys that aren't superstars but are still top trade targets or free agents, they do like to fly below the radar and not really make a lot of noise when it comes to signing guys like that. So, still look out for them, that they could be involved in a trade like this, but it would probably be a last resort type of deal if I had to make a prediction. And that is all I have for you guys here on Mets Digest. Make sure you guys subscribe. We will be pumping these videos out for you, especially with Juan Soto meetings going on. I'm sure there's going to be tons of little reports from Passan and Heyman about what's going on in the Juan Soto meetings and the offers that the teams are giving him, excuse me. But I will end it off for you guys here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for your support all off season long. Goodbye, y'all. Have a good night.